Need a little cider insider. Hey guys, welcome to edition number 2 of my movie recommendations for you guys. I'm a really big movie nut, and I have been for a very long time. The first time that I recommended movies to you guys, I only went through my DVD collection, completely forgetting that I have a really rather large VHS collection in my closet. A lot of these movies I haven't ever gotten rid of since I was a child. A lot of them I've bought at Value Village for $2, and that's basically my prerogative on why I still use so many VHSs. It's because they're $2 freaking dollars. I'm not about to go and spend like $15 to $20 on a Blu-ray edition of a movie that I've already got on VHS. Basically, if it's not broken, then why fix it, right? So welcome to this retro edition of my movie suggestion. So to start this off, the first one's going to be completely obvious for me because if you know anything about me, you know that I'm a huge Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan, and I have been since I was a baby wee one. I guess I've just been watching them since I can remember. So the next one is Reality Bites. This one is such a good movie. It has Winona Ryder in it, and she's like my girl crush forever. And it's a 90s movie. It just portrays life in the 90s, and the main character in this records a lot of her life on a big fat camera. It's basically just like early vlogging, and I really enjoy it because it kind of throws me back to a time when my dad would chase us around the house with his huge camera trying to catch the memories in our home videos, which I still own, by the way. Next up is my absolute favorite musical, and that is Chicago. I'm extremely gravitated towards it because it's a bunch of women in jail for killing men for being assholes, so hey, can't go wrong with that, right? Next up is absolutely one of my top favorite music-related movies. It's Detroit Rock City. I've been watching this movie since I can remember. I have a huge crush on, like, every single one of these dudes. I just think it's such a fascinating story, a bunch of dudes trying to see their favorite band ever, and they just take a little mini road trip to go watch them and fall into a bunch of traps, so that's really cool. I just really enjoy this one. I've watched it so many times, and I'm probably going to watch it a billion more. Going along with the music trend, I don't even have a case for this one. That's how long I've had it. It is SLC Punk, and hugely inspirational. Probably the first movie I ever really saw that had anything to do with punk rock. And it's just such a classic movie, and I'm extremely excited for the new movie coming out by the creator of that, Punk's Dead. Excited to see that one. And right along with that music theme is Almost Famous. My mom showed me this when I was quite young, and I just grasped onto it for dear life because it's such a good storyline. It's just basically like a music lover's dream going on tour with a band that they really enjoy. So super good. Actually has a lot of like really inspiring moments in it. So yeah, super good. Now I'm going to show you a couple of my favorite Johnny Depp movies that I have on VHS. I do have a lot more than this, but these are the ones I chose out of those. First up, Cry Baby, super duper classic. Has a lot to do with clique rivalry and all that jazz from high school, and basically just awesome, super cool greaser movie. I love it. Next up is Sleepy Hollow, which used to give me the craziest nightmares when I was a child. Scared the bejeepers out of me. Especially the scene where the cockroach like crawls out of that person's neck. It freaked me out so bad, but I've grown to love it over the years. Then What's Eating Gilbert Grape is another super duper really awesome good one. It has a lot of in-depth meaning to it, and also a really good soundtrack if you ask me. I just really like the rawness of this movie. Very small town life, very, you know, at-home troubles. It's really good. Next up is The Crow, the original. It's very heartbreaking about Brandon Lee passing away during the filming of this, but also a really friggin' good movie. Absolutely awesome, hits a lot of really good subjects, and it's kind of just basically a classic, right? Now going into my two favorite vampire movies, and that is The Lost Boys. Very 80s movie. My mom showed me this a billion years ago, and I just fell in love. Also, Interview with the Vampire. I've probably watched this one at least 20 times in my life, and I will continue watching it again and again. Now I'm just going to touch base on some movies that I super duper duper loved watching when I was a youngin'. Still turn on to this day as like a nostalgic movie to watch. It really puts me in a good headspace. And those movies are Secret of NIMH. This one I watched a bunch when I was younger. It has the most amazing art in it for its time. Its storyline is very deep for a children's movie. Has anybody seen this movie? Because I feel like not enough people have. It's The Princess and the Goblin, and I remember having a book that went along with the movie, and it's just so good. I just loved it growing up. Next up is A Little Princess, and this movie is pretty friggin' heartbreaking if you ask me. It really put me in a good headspace as far as being kind to others and, you know, appreciating your life, because it could be a lot worse. Next up is Alice in Wonderland, complete Disney classic. Absolutely entirely happy they made this one. Kind of really, at a young age, inspired me to go think out of the box, of course, because this whole movie is absolutely crazy. And it kind of just made me feel like, you know, life doesn't have to be cookie cutter boring all the time. If you can have an imagination, then things can be great. Also, Little Mermaid, another one of my favorite Disney movies ever. Obviously, kind of related to why I had bright red hair for 3 years of my life. And I know it's pretty typical for girls to say that, but let's be honest, when you're like 10 years old watching Ariel on the screen, you're like, why is my hair not bright red? Next up is Edward Scissorhands, going right back into that Johnny Depp feel. This movie made me bawl my eyes out the first time I ever watched it, and then probably for the next 6 or 7 times, I would bawl just as hard. It is so touching, heartwarming, and soft, and lovely, and demented, and I love it. Next up is The Swan Princess. I watched this one so much growing up. Holy moly. And lastly, I'm gonna just end it off here with The Aristocats, also a really good children's movie. Kind of adorable in every way possible. Just so cute. Cats! So those are the ones that I picked out of my VHS collection that I thought held the biggest parts of my life, the ones that I've watched the most and can continue seeing myself putting them on again and again and again. These are just the ones that speak to me in some way, shape, or form, and I just absolutely love them. So if you haven't seen any of these, I highly recommend them. Have you guys seen any of these movies? Are there any that you love just as much as I do? Just let me know down in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.